What would a parade be without a fire engine? Don't go away. So, indeed, what would a parade be without a fire engine? Well, in case you missed it, the Three Blind Mice was going to host a 4th of July diecast parade, and we were all supposed to build a vehicle to enter into the parade. And so I naturally thought of a fire truck. Well, for unseen circumstances, we had to cancel that build. It didn't happen. But I didn't know, and so I'd already really kind of started on my build, and so I'm going to show it to you today. Sorry about that, guys, but as you know, the Three Blind Mice is ending its run, and I also want to point out that to end its run, we're going to do one final build. It's going to be a go back in time over the last couple of years, look at any builds that the Three Blind Mice have done, and build that casting. The videos will drop on September 3rd. There will be a recap video and a little farewell. So hopefully you'll all participate in it and make it a really great showing. That would really mean a lot to all of us. So anyhow, I digress. The point being, I had this fire truck build for the parade. Didn't happen. But I still have a very cool fire truck to show you. So let's get to work. So it's hard for me to believe that after all this time of doing diecasts and stuff like that, that I haven't tackled one of these emergency trucks. Especially because I really grew up with the old Gage and DeSoto Rampart 51 emergency show, and it really featured a vehicle more like this as opposed to a fire engine. But I'm going to go ahead and tackle this today. Now, this was originally intended to be part of the 4th of July parade, because I thought to myself, well, what's the 4th of July parade without a fire truck in it? And so that was going to be my entry. As it turned out, we didn't do the 4th of July parade, but I was still neck deep in this project, so I just decided to go ahead and finish it up and present it anyhow. So one of the first things I needed to do is get a design going, and I found that one of the best ways to do it is to get a nice good side picture of it, and then I can take it into Adobe Illustrator where I can make an outline, just a generic shape of the body. This allows me to go ahead and colorize it and lay over logos or stripes or whatever I need to do to kind of knock out what I really want to do. And so that's what I'm doing here. I've got the photo imported into Illustrator. I'm using the pen tool to just make an outline of the body shape. I'll put in just a few details so that you can really get the gist of what's going on, and then I can go ahead and start to design my truck. So I have an idea based on a full-size fire truck that we had restored and painted, and I'm going to try and see how that works here. And it begins with a white truck, and then it's going to have some red, blue, and gold accents on it. We're going to make it part of the FG Fat Guy Fire Department, and we'll see how it comes out. Okay, so I'm really liking what I'm seeing here. Now the question is going to be, can I make this happen? Hopefully I can, especially because I've decided that I'm going to commit to this, and this is the way I'm going to try and make this look. Okay, so this is a newer Redline, and it's got a plastic base to it. The rivets are not like the old ones, and they have little dimples in them, so they're real easy to drill out with just a plain old drill bit. So I'll just go ahead and chuck up a drill bit, drill out the two posts, one at the front, one at the back, and take this car apart. Got the post drilled out with my persuader. The base pops right off. And you see it's just straight axles. I'll have to deal with that because the wheels are kind of crappy looking, so they've got to be replaced. So the nice part is they'll just pop right off, and then I'll figure out how I'm going to replace them a little bit later on. But we get that off, and then we'll find inside a blue plastic insert that serves as like the hose reels and the emergency lights in the roof. And we also have a glass piece in there. Now, I gotta tell you, I originally thought to myself, maybe I need to take that blue plastic piece and resin cast it in clear red resin, and I could paint parts of it and leave the other parts clear. But I decided that I really didn't have enough time, and I'm just being honest here. I didn't have enough time, and so I decided to just use what was here. And besides, I actually have a way to paint the redheads to make them look pretty good. So I'm comfortable with the decision. If I had more time, I probably would have cast this piece, but that's not what we're going to do today. All right, it's our favorite time of the day. It's time for this casting to go into the warm liquid goo phase. Hopefully we get a nice good goo drop here, so let's drop it in.
Stage 2. Warm liquid goo phase beginning.
There we go. Down into the depths. That's a pretty good one, actually.
Warm liquid goo phase complete.
So after a few hours, I've gone ahead and plucked the truck body out of the warm liquid goo phase. We've washed it off really good, and we're drying it. We're just taking a look and making sure everything is the way we want it to be. Now, I'm going to be painting this in opaque paint, so I don't really need to worry about toning or anything like that. All I really need to do is just make sure that the body is kind of smooth and chip and dent free, and then we can go ahead and prime it and paint it. I know a lot of times price can chase people away from certain products, and Tamiya Fine Primer is one of those products, because you get this little tiny can for like $8, $9 or something like that, and it seems to be pretty expensive. But I'll tell you something honestly, I haven't used a primer that I like better ever in my life. This stuff goes on so beautifully and so smooth, and honestly, the can goes a lot further than you'd expect. So I really highly recommend this, and you can go ahead and find this in my Amazon store by going to www.amazon.com/shop/Paul Udelis. Look under both diecast and model building, and you'll find a link for this Tamiya Fine Primer. It comes in different colors, so you can impact your paint jobs, and I just swear by this stuff. Now, I just told you how cool Tamiya Fine Primer is, and it came out so nice, the white part, that I'm not going to paint it. I'm just going to use that as the white for the model. And all I have to do now is just mask off where I want the red, and then I can take it to the paint booth, paint in the red, and we'll be golden. The trick here is that because I do have some free-floating masking to do, it's really important that I pay attention to the symmetry on both sides. So I'm using landmarks on the body as a way to get the mask job correct. But after that, it should be all good, and we can go ahead and paint. Now for the paint, I'm just going to use Tamiya Gloss Red paint. I'm going to mix it down with some leveling thinner and some X20. throw it in my airbrush, and just lightly paint the rear of the fire truck. And hopefully it will not bleed. And even if it does, though, it's not going to be the end of the world, because that paint line is going to be covered up by decals. So I've told you this before, I'll tell you again, I like to get the car out of the tape as soon as possible. So what I do is I'll paint down what I need to paint down. As soon as I'm done cleaning out my airbrush, I'll go and peel off the mask, okay? Because if you wait too long, you can get like a chipped edge, you know, and you don't want to go too early, because then it's messy and dangerous. This proves to be just about the right amount of time. So as soon as the airbrush is clean, I start pulling off the tape, and I'm really happy to see that the paint job came out fantastic. So I took a bunch of measurements off the body, and I designed out the decals and the stripes and everything that I would need. And then what I did is I printed a page just on plain paper and cut them out to make sure everything fit right. Once I was happy with that, I print a set out on decal paper. So now I'm going to just trim the decals down, and then we can go ahead and lay them onto the body, and we're going to cross our fingers that this all works out. Couple tips here. I have a good amount of water on the surface of the body so that when the decal slides off, I can move it around. The next tip is that I'm going to use my toothpick. I love a toothpick for kind of nudging decals around. And then finally, I'm going to have a cotton bud right handy so that once I'm kind of where I want to be, I can just touch it to the very edge, and it will wick away a lot of that moisture. The decal will settle down. I can still move it, but it's not just sloshy and floating all over the place. But anyhow, the decals are actually going on really, really well. I'm very happy with this. Okay, so I'm always trying something new just to see if maybe there's something better out there. And I'm using 3D resin printed hubs here. So I printed out the hubs. I made sure that the drill hole is opened up in them. I've got a little bit of a piano wire that I'm using for the axle. And then I'll put that all in place and pop on some hub-style wheels. Now, the only problem I'm having is that the hubs are a little too big. So I had to do a little bit of sanding to the wheels to make sure that they would pop on. Not the end of the world, but it was a little bit more work than I would hope it to be. But hey, it worked, and if that's what you got, that's what you got. And that was the important thing. I tried something new. It's another tool in the toolbox in case I need it. Okay, everything is ready to go. Everything is nice and dry, and I can go ahead and start putting this casting back together. Now, there's still a little bit of paint that I'll do after I get the casting back together, but for the most part, this thing is ready to go, and in my opinion, it's looking fantastic. Well, there it is. My Fat Guy Fire Department fire truck, okay? I had not done one of these castings, and so I was excited to do that. I think it came out fantastic. I love the way it looks. Everything about it, I'm very happy with. I hope you loved it too. If you did, please give this video a giant thumbs up. Click subscribe, and don't forget to squash the notification bell so you never miss one of my videos. As always, if you have any questions or comments, leave them down below. I love to talk with you guys. It makes my day. All right, that's going to do it. With my fire truck build, it's going to go into the cabinet. And we'll see you hopefully on September 3rd with the final Three Blind Mice build. But until then, this is Paul from Fat Guy Productions saying be good.